Welcome everybody to the AME television show. My name is Jason Dowd. I'm your host, and I'm going to be taking you through three great places today. First place that we're going to is right here in Tampa Bay. We're going to go to the Big Cat Rescue. I'm going to be talking with Jeff Kramer, the Director of Donor Appreciation. He's going to be telling you all about the organization and what they do. They're going to show you the cats that they have there and the habitats that they live in. The Big Cat Rescue is such an amazing place because it gives these cats that have been either no longer welcome at zoos or through private ownership, believe it or not, people have them as cats and they surrender them. They give them the chance to live out the rest of their lives in happiness. So let's go check out the Big Cat Rescue, and when you're done, go to www.bigcatrescue.org. There you can give them monetary support because it costs about $10,000 a year just to feed and maintain these animals. They have over 100, so that'll tell you how much it is. So please go help them out, help them save these lives, and enjoy this place. And if you ever get the chance to come down to Tampa, Florida, this is definitely a place you want to stop at. So let's go check out the video and we'll be right back with more. Hi, I'm Jason Dowd and I'm here at the Big Cat Rescue in Tampa, Florida. This is an amazing place because it really does a lot to preserve and protect wildlife that people mistakenly think they're pets. I don't think a lion should be a pet.
And we don't either.
No, and I am here with Jeff Kramer from Big Cat Rescue. How are you doing?
Great, thanks. Thanks for being here today.
Well, thank you for having me. Kind of tell me a little bit about the Big Cat Rescue. How did this place come about, and what's your goal for this particular location?
Sure. Big Cat Rescue is one of the world's largest accredited sanctuaries for exotic cats, and our mission and vision has evolved over the years. You know, back in the it was founded back in 1993. And back then there were some small, we've learned that over the years exotic cats don't make good pets. And so our mission as an organization is to rescue the cats we can provide a permanent home to for the rest of their lives, and they've either come from fur farms or from entertainment acts. In the last 5 years, most of our cats are actually being rescued from the exotic pet trade in our country, which is a legal trade. So in about half the country you can own lions, tigers, and leopards, which our goal as an organization is to help enact laws that will make it illegal for private ownership of exotic cats.
Now, why do these people have them as pets?
You know, the same two factors are always the same. It's always either ego or money. Either somebody's getting a lot of attention for having an exotic cat, or someone is making a lot of money by breeding the exotic cats and then selling them, saying that they make good pets, which they don't.
Over the years, what has been the primary focus here? Has there been like more lions, more tigers? What type of animals are usually around here?
Sure. So in the early years of the sanctuary, most of the cats were smaller cat rescues. You know, there were a lot of bobcats, there were a lot of lynx, and then some of the tigers were coming from the entertainment acts. Again, though, in the last 5 years, most of our cats are coming from the exotic pet trade, and what we're finding is that in our country there's almost double the number of tigers in captivity and private ownership than all of the world left in the wild. So our goal is to educate the public through our tours and to empower our guests with the information that's going to allow them to make better and the best decisions regarding the welfare of these exotic cats.
And you guys don't handle the cats here, do you? You pretty much let them be as natural as possible, unlike most zoos and stuff like that.
Sure, great observation. So our goal, we're a non-contact facility, so not even our senior animal caretakers ever go in an animal enclosure unless the animal's been sedated for a medical purpose. And our goal is to educate the public about those issues, to say, listen, we're not a zoo, or as we could say a zoo alternative. We don't have any breeding, and that's really the big definition. The definition of any sanctuary in our country or around the world is you don't breed animals. So our goal is not to breed animals for captivity, but rather to advocate for laws that will protect for their welfare and advocate for their survival in the wild, where they obviously deserve to live.
And last time I was here too, I noticed that you had said something about the white Bengal tiger. That is a very rare type of thing. It's not natural. It's actually didn't you say it was something like a bred thing?
Yeah, so a lot of people think that white tigers are actually a separate species from golden tigers, and it's actually, white tigers are all just, they're a genetic mutation. It's a double recessive gene. So white tigers don't live in the wild. They don't survive because they don't hunt or hide effectively. It's just it's something that nature has happened once in a while, but it's not meant to succeed. So you'll never find anybody that has a picture of a white tiger that's living naturally in the wild. They do occur, but very rarely. But what humankind does is they breed to get white tigers because they're obviously different, and people are drawn by different, and people bring money to see something different. So when you go to a facility, if they have a white tiger that's been rescued, that's a wonderful thing. If they're breeding for white tigers, that's not a good thing. In any type of exotic animal, cat or otherwise, in entertainment is something that the sanctuary just hopefully helping to prevent.
Now, one of the things I've noticed here, and I'm sure probably people are going to ask, what is the difference between this place here and a zoo?
Yeah, great observation. So, AZA accredited zoos in our country are the standard. They are probably the best place for captive animals other than a sanctuary. But again, the differences are, number one is zoos breed for baby animals because babies are cute and cute bring people and people bring money. An accredited sanctuary, we're part of what we call GFAS, the Global Federation of Accredited Animal Sanctuaries. And an animal sanctuary doesn't breed animals, whether it's a horse sanctuary, if it's equine, primates, cats, bears, they don't breed because a true sanctuary doesn't want to breed for captivity. And so the biggest difference between a zoo and a sanctuary is going to be that we don't breed. Two is we don't allow interaction, not for us as caretakers, but also for the public. We stopped that many years ago. So those are the two biggest differences between an accredited sanctuary and an accredited zoo.
Now, this place obviously is not cheap to maintain. You got the food, you got the grounds you got to keep up, you got medical stuff for the animals. How do you make your money? And is it like zoos where it's more for profit, or does it go to actually help save these animals and rescue more animals?
Sure, great questions. So we're one of the highest rated charities in the country. We're rated 4-star by Charity Navigator. We only have approximately 12 paid staff members, and as I started 9 years ago, I started as a volunteer. So we're a volunteer-driven organization. Fiscally, we have to pay the bills. We have about a $3 million budget in the most current year, but most of that money is going directly toward the welfare of the cats. So, for example, our online gift shop sales and our in-store gift shop sales combined with our tour funds, that has always paid all of our operating and overhead expenses. So when the public makes a donation in support of the cats, we can proudly say that 100% of that dollar is going toward the welfare of the cats. It's not going toward operation or overhead costs.
Now, when I was here one time, you said something very interesting. It's about the difference between the ability for a cat to roar and a cat to meow.
Sure.
Talk about that, because that's probably something people just don't understand. And are there some wild cats like this that just meow and not roar?
Yeah, the general differences are there are greater cats, and those are only 4 species: lions, tigers, leopards, and jaguars. And every other species of cat, including our house cats, which my wife and I have a couple of rescues, those are considered lesser cats. And the differences are if you're a greater cat, you roar. Lesser cats purr. They don't roar. Greater cats, when they have offspring, they call them cubs. Lesser cats, kittens. And then there's some other physical differences with their pupils. The lesser cats have elliptical shaped pupils because generally a lesser cat is going to be smaller and spend most of the day sleeping and do most of their hunting at night, whereas a greater cat like that would be like us. A greater cat, a lion, tiger, leopard, or jaguar is going to be the king of everything. So they have more of a round or oval pupil like humans do because they can choose to hunt day or night.
Is their senses more profound? Like, can they see better at nighttime than a regular lesser cat?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, actually, all cats can see better than us at night. Cats have a special reflective lining of cells behind the retinas that allows them to kind of re-amplify that limited light after dark. And cats will generally be able to see 6 to 10 times better than us after dark. All of their senses are generally better than us except for taste. So cats can hear 3 times better than humans. They listen at about 60,000. They can hear about 60,000 hertz. Their ability to smell is incredible. So while the cats actually breathe through their nose and mouth, they actually smell through their mouth. They have a Jacobson organ right behind their top excisor teeth that allows them to smell parts per million, where we smell parts per thousand. So if you see your house cat with a little pink tongue sticking out, that's actually they've drawn air in through their mouth over the Jacobson organ, and they smell something stimulating, so their tongue a little sticks out. Whereas our tigers, when they smell something that's really stimulating, the tiger's tongue will hang halfway down their chin. So they're able to smell parts per million.
Now, one of the cool things that I like about these is that you also have not only exotic cats from like Africa, but there are some really exotic cats that live here in the state of Florida that are native to the state of Florida.
Sure.
What are those cats, and how many of them do you think you have here?
We don't have any pure Florida panthers, but we have cougars and mountain lions and pumas, which are the same species. People will give it a different name depending on the geographic region of the world where the cat comes from, but a Florida panther is the same as a cougar or a mountain lion or a puma in South America. It's just geographically. So we have a number of cougars and mountain lions at the sanctuary. And then the other cat that would be native to Florida would be the bobcat, which is native to our entire country. And we have quite a few bobcats. And those would be the two species currently that are indigenous to the United States. It would be cougars, mountain lions, Florida panthers, and then the bobcat.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, actually almost last year, not a couple of weeks, but I saw a big cat in my backyard, and it was yay big, and that thing jumped over the fence by itself, but it was pure black. What could that possibly have been?
Yeah, and we oftentimes will get guests will call and say, you know, I've had a big cat sighting. Generally, if it's a big cat, if the tail is long, I mean, if it's brown, it would be a Florida panther. When people say they've seen a black one, we'd really need to see the photograph, because there's not a native black cat that's indigenous. You know, the only large cats with large black tails would be black jaguars or black leopards, and those are not indigenous to our country. So unless somebody let one out, there shouldn't be an all black large cat roaming around your neighborhood.
Well,
yeah.
That's kind of scary.
Absolutely.
I mean, when I saw the thing, just to give everybody an idea of how big this thing was, when it was laying down next to my neighbor's house, its head almost went to the top of the air handler outside.
Wow. And so those kind of cats, I mean, and the leaping ability you saw is cougars and mountain lions, that species of cat, can leap sometimes 20 to 30 feet horizontally and almost 20 feet vertically. So yeah, they could absolutely, from a stand, just jump right over a 6 or 8 foot fence.
Now, isn't there one that actually lives in the trees, and they can just they jump up in the tree and they can jump down and pounce on people?
You know, a lot of cats like to stay in trees. The ones you predominantly see in trees would be leopards, because leopards like to take their prey into trees. They'll take the prey that they've caught and drape it over limbs to keep it away from the scavenger animals. So they're, you know, but the cougars and mountain lions, they're great climbers as well. Bobcats, and you'll see in some of our enclosures, the bobcats like to jump up on their platforms and go into trees as well. Cats love to be up top because they're predatory, and then they can hunt even more effectively.
What's the most exotic animal that you have either here now or have had in the past?
Yeah, so the most unique animal, an endangered animal we have right now, we have a sand cat. Her name's Jeannie, and they would be native to places like Saudi Arabia. They live in the desert in burrows, and they literally look like about a 4-pound house cat, like a baby cat, just a lot of fur. Some of the species that we've had in the past that have been endangered, we've had fishing cats, we've had Joffrey's cats. I encourage guests to look up those videos online on our Big Cat Rescue YouTube channel, because we've got all the videos of all the species that have lived at Big Cat Rescue and currently live at Big Cat Rescue. Well, I got to wrap this up, unfortunately. I hope everybody had a good time looking at all the B-roll footage that we have, and of course go to the website. How can people find you? You can find us on Facebook, Big Cat Rescue, and on our YouTube channel, Big Cat Rescue, has currently about 600 videos with 90 million views. Facebook is where do you want to keep up with all that's going on in the sanctuary, or check in on our website at bigcatrescue.org. And how can they make a donation if they want? They can actually just go to Big Cat Rescue, the website bigcatrescue.org, and go to the donate page. And we'd appreciate their support of these magnificent creatures. Well, thank you for having us out here. I really hope this place continues to do such amazing things for these animals, and it is important to preserve these animals and respect them, the most important. Well, and I think, that's the biggest send away we like our guests to go with, is there's a lot of heartfelt stories in the world today for animal welfare, whether it be the cats or the orcas or the primates, and realize that each of us, every single person, can make the difference. It just takes one person's voice to make change. So collectively, we will make a positive difference in these cats' lives, and we appreciate the public support. Well, thank you so much. Good to see you.
Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is, there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to BuyYourTimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. BuyYourTimeshare.com. That's BuyYourTimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME. 877-94-HELP-ME. The AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV.
Alright everybody, do you guys like the strange and unusual? I love the strange and unusual. And if you've ever seen my art, you know I'm strange and unusual. That's what makes me me. But one of the places I really enjoy going to, and I find a lot of inspiration there, is in Orlando. We're going to be taking you through Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum here in the city of Orlando. What's cool about this place is they got some really neat artifacts and some two-headed animals and all kinds of crazy things. I'm going to be narrating it because we didn't have anybody to interview, but that's okay. I'm going to show you some of the things I saw, and if you really like what you saw, go check out one of these Ripley's Believe It or Not museums. They're all over the United States. I believe Florida has 4 of them. And again, go check out their website, www.ripleysbelieveItorNot.com. Let me take you on this little expedition, and we'll be right back to close out the show with my last destination.
The outside of Ripley's Believe It or Not is as strange as its contents. It looks like it's sinking, but it's really not. Legend has it that a sinkhole opened up out of the building, but it's really some amazing construction. And when you walk in, you're going to meet Mr. Ripley. The long deceased, though, he introduces you to the collection from behind his own desk that he used to write. Let's listen to him for a second.
Unbelievable things I've collected. It hasn't been easy. My day, trip from New York to China took months. You know, my travels took me to hundreds of countries.
Now this stool is made of nothing but spools. It's probably uncomfortable to sit on, but yet it's a work of art nonetheless, believe it or not. Now here's some really amazing art. This is actually 3D portraits carved out of phone books. The pictures are of John Lennon and Jimi Hendrix, 2 legendary rockers from the 1960s and 70s. Their careers are as amazing as these portraits. Look at the detail with nothing but ink. Now we're going to go to New Guinea. This is a genuine ancestor head statue from New Guinea made from actual heads of their relatives that had passed. Very common practice, but as a way to honor their relatives. And staying in New Guinea, this is a dog's tooth necklace made of nothing but dog teeth because they had high respect for their 4-legged friends. Now this piece of art is a skull trophy. Tibetan monks used to do this often, and you see the metal, you see the engravings. It's simply a beautiful carved piece of art, and it's made from an actual human skull. But here's a long sought after trophy. These are the shrunken head. Now what happened was headhunters would go out and kill their victims, and then they would shrink their heads to make it a trophy. There's a lot of replicas out there, but this one happens to be a genuine shrunken head. Now we're going to go to Africa. These are custom caskets that were made to reflect the job of the deceased. Some come in shapes of peppers for cooks, and fish like this one for someone who is a fisherman. It's a unique way to rest for eternity, don't you think? Now we're going to go to some strange and unusual things. Have you ever seen 2 pigs together? Probably not like this. These 2 pigs share a fused head with 2 bodies. The piglets didn't last long after birth, obviously for the reasons that you see. But now here's a real amazing thing that we're going to look at. This rooster is a marvel in itself. It hatched in the 1920s and was born without a head, yet it survived to be a full adult. It went on tour to amaze those who saw him. I'm amazed because I don't know how he got to be an adult without being able to eat. Now this is something that was sought after in the 19th century. This is a genuine vampire kit. A lot of replicas, but this is real. They used to use it because they were afraid of having, the undead coming after them. So luckily nobody ever had to use it. Now this is something that I love. If you love art, this is amazing. This is toast art. What the artist is, he brown toasted different shades to create an amazing portrait of the Mona Lisa. Sit there and enjoy it for a second, and then we'll go on to the next piece of art. Now this art is made from smoke, believe it or not, and it's a portrait of the flying Alingas. It's amazing that it was done with nothing but smoke, and that they were able to get all these shades, but you could see the haze and the softness that comes from it. And now, in just two minutes, we're going to go to this portrait, which is actually made of Legos. It is a portrait of a female with the single peg Lego, thousands of them, to make this amazing piece of art. Now we're going to go to something small. This is actually the smallest deck of cards that we have ever been seen, and this is the original Old King Cole booklet, microscopic. These are miniature 15-karat gold spoons that are so small, they almost look like the bone of your eardrum. And this is a miniature Michael Jackson that was done to tribute his Thriller movie. Now, have you ever heard of get out and play the world's smallest violin when someone complains? Well, there it is, the world's smallest violin that only a cricket could play. Now, these chairs are actually the smallest chair and the largest chair. One was used by Wadlow, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But these are actual designer chairs that have been used by actual people. Now, this belongs to Lucia Zarat, who was born in Mexico. At full adulthood size, she was only 7 inches tall, believe it or not. Now, as we said earlier, this is Wadlow, the world's largest man, who actually has the Guinness Book of World Records standing. He stood a whopping 9 feet tall. Before the World Trade Center, he visited the Empire State Building, which stood as the world's tallest building. So it was the world's tallest man, world's tallest building. Now, these are just some really cool freak people out there. You'll see this one that has a bunch of rings around their neck. You see this guy that was actually able to pop his eyes out of his eye socket. And this guy that you're going to see here was actually able to pull his lip and his chin over his nose. Amazing. And this one's even more amazing. This guy only had a half a body. He never had a torso. Actually, that's all he had was a torso. He never had legs. Now, these are modified people. These people made fangs, tattooed themselves, made themselves into some absolute freaks. And this is the Lizard Man. I know you've seen him on all kinds of different things. Now, this pool table looks like an ordinary table except for when you enter the room and see it's not level. When you roll the ball, as I will demonstrate, the ball always rolls up and goes into the same pocket every time, believe it or not, even if you just barely touch it. In 1988, President Reagan demanded Gorbachev to tear down this wall. He was talking about the Berlin Wall separating Germany. One side was controlled by Russia. That's why he asked for Gorbachev to take it down. This is part of that wall. And now we're going to finish our tour here, and we're going to go see something very amazing. This is how we finish it. You walk through a tunnel that has a very steady floor, but as you can see, it's very hard to think that you're standing up straight. You think you're turning with the wall. You don't.
Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is, there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to BuyYourTimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. BuyYourTimeshare.com. That's BuyYourTimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME. 877-94-HELP-ME. The AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV.
All right, everybody, I really hope you enjoyed Ripley's Believe It or Not. I'm going to take you through my last destination. It's Disney's Animal Kingdom. It is the home to one of my favorite roller coasters called Expedition Everest. Expedition Everest is not like the typical roller coaster. It does have thrills, but it also combines the magic of Disney. You're going to go through the Himalayas, you're going to get stuck at the summit, you're going to go backwards, and you're going to run into a Yeti. Now, it can be quite intense for children. I mean, I gotta admit, sometimes having that big, huge Yeti coming down right in front of your face can be quite intimidating. So if you have younger children, I would suggest either talking to them about it, letting them understand that it's going to be quite intense, or not going on at all. But if you don't have children, or you don't have children that are scared of it, this is a ride you want to go on. This is a point of view experience, which means I'm holding the camera. You're not going to see me in front of it. You're going to experience it through my eyes. It was not easy at all to hold the camera. This is a very fast, sharp turns ride that really kind of jiggled my camera. So unfortunately, you're going to have to focus through that a little bit, but it's worth it. And unfortunately, this is my last stop, so I'm going to say goodbye here. If you want to see any of my other TV interviews, if you want to see any of the guests that we have, if you want to read any of our stories or go listen to our radio show, go to www.theamemagazine.com. Check out all the links and always stop by. And again, stay creative, everybody. We'll see you next time. On to Expedition Everest.